Welcome, everyone, to the Well Wave Now podcast. This is the Backstory series, where today we have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Reshma Patel. Now, Dr. Patel comes from my industry. She's a PharmD and has been working in the pharmacy industry for many years now, taking a special route. But before we even get into your background of what you're doing professionally, we always like to get to know you as a person. So, Dr. Patel, where did you grow up and what was it like?
I grew up right here in Dallas, Texas. I'm born and raised. My family is from India. So my parents came in the late 60s to Dallas, actually. So just been here my whole time and also went to pharmacy school at UT Austin
Okay. So are you in Dallas proper, or are you one of the suburbs of Dallas?
in North Dallas.
That's where you are.
So Richardson, Texas.
Now, is that where you grew up, or did you grow up in another suburb?
We grew up in Richardson and I'm living in Richardson. Didn't go far from the nest.
That's awesome. And do you have any siblings? Are you an only child?
I actually have two brothers. One is a dentist and the other one is an engineer. So, and they're both actually here in Richardson, Texas as well.
They stayed
Family
close to
that grows
home
up
also.
together stays together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what was it like for you growing up in Richardson?
It was different because back in the 80s, 90s, there wasn't much diversity here. So it was challenging as well as made me realize a lot of things about myself and expanded my views. Definitely different ways of life. I grew up as an Indian kid, first generation, a lot of curiosity from friends and others in the community about our food, our culture, our way of life. And same on our end, adjusting to the different styles of ways people lived here in America versus what my parents grew up in India. So it was definitely a balance, which expanded my views and thoughts about, in general about life.
Yeah. So with that background of your mom and dad bringing their culture to America and then the American mixture of culture, were there some family traditions that you just kept all along? I mean, we have specific family traditions that we do in my family. And especially around the holiday season, did you have any
Mhm.
specific traditions you've carried on?
Yes, for sure. Diwali is a big Indian Hindu celebration, which we've always celebrated and taken part in, going to the temple and prayers. And then we also, growing up here in America, and back in those days, the Indian community was not that big. So my parents kind of adapted Christmas as Diwali.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so because it was we got vacation, we got time off. So they kind of combined the two and just took Christmas as an opportunity for us to learn about Diwali, but then also, we took on that tradition where we have a tree and we do, a nice dinner and prayers. So we just kind of incorporated and mixed the two and made it, I guess, our own little celebration. Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to probe you. I was going to let you go, but I'm not. I'm going to probe you a little bit. Having grown up in somewhat similar circumstances, I'm from central Nebraska. Grew up there a little
Mhm.
bit earlier than you do, and I think they're a town of 32,000 at the time, and it was about 100 blacks, 500 Hispanics, and the rest Caucasians. Give me a little bit more on what you think the advantages and this. I always say there was great advantages I had in doing that others don't have, and there was some, as you say, some challenges. Give me a little bit more on what you think the challenges and how that shaped you going up there, and the advantages and the challenges of it.
So the advantages of being, different, different culture, different name, different parents, the way we live, broadened my horizon to the possibilities. knowing that there's just not one way or a right way or a wrong way, that all is acceptable, even the mindset, the beliefs, I got to see both sides. And so that also expanded my views on how do I look at myself? Of course, I could go down and, be hard on myself or say that, "Oh, maybe I'm not looking like everyone else, or I don't have those parents, or we might have disadvantages." But I always tried to find the positive
Uh-huh.
in everything
Uh-huh.
and know that I'm here for a reason. And I just always had that in me. So I really became very strong in my faith, myself. Feeling like I'm okay to be who I am. Of course, there were moments that were difficult and challenging, but at the same time, I just took it in a positive light. And then I would say the challenges would be, people not accepting me or, not wanting to be a part of what I had to offer or my friend or, being last to be chosen if we're having to choose to play soccer game and things like that. So in that way, those things were challenging. Also trying to explain myself or explain why we do certain things or, why I look a certain way, So those things were a challenge, I will say, but I think it made me stronger.
Right.
And definitely character and grit and perseverance and self worth.
Great.
Good.
So I appreciate that. Appreciate you talking now. Now, did you take that grit? You said you got chosen last for soccer. So were you just a nerd growing up, or were you athletic? And were you into any you play any instruments, or what'd you do?
I was actually in dance. And so I had to balance some of the, disappointments of growing up in elementary school, middle school, being the only Indian kid, me and my
Right,
brother. And so I did a lot of things in the Indian community.
right.
And one of the things that I did do was Indian classical dance, which I still do today. Love doing that. It just brings me back to me and just feels wonderful and energizing. So that's what I did growing up. And yeah, I love it.
What's a childhood memory that you really cherish and something that you always reflect on whenever you're in that mood and you need to remember or feel nostalgic? What is that cherished memory that you have as a child?
The thing that comes to mind is Christmases. They were just so special. My mom was very much into celebrations and holidays, and we'd watch movies together. We spent a lot of time together. We played games together, did so many just little things, moments together that really made it feel like special for us, that we were valued and thought of. And we would go Christmas shopping and buy each other gifts. And it was just very, special to me. And so I love those moments.
Okay. So that's a great memory. And who it could be your influenced your life the most coming up?
I would say both my parents influenced my life quite a bit. Many ways, just the challenges that I saw them face, the hardships, coming to a new country with nothing and making something of themselves, having three kids, supporting us, providing for us, just all of that they've gone through is just amazing to see how strong they were and how much they valued us and wanted us to be successful. So, yeah, in reality, that's what fuels my love and passion for deprescribing medications is the journey with my parents, actually, and just being a pharmacist in this space and seeing that need.
You're absolutely touching on what we want to go to next, and that is your professional career today. What is the essence of the wellness work that you do today? And then also, what do you personally get out of it?
Okay. Seeing my parents go through their health journey in and out of the hospital, confused, without clarity, overwhelmed. It was just, I really noticed there was a huge need for pharmacists to be involved in their medication management. Being a pharmacist, working in nursing homes, assisted livings, seeing patients on multiple meds, how we as consultant pharmacists help the patients in those settings look at their medications. Are they appropriate? Do they have side effects? Are there drug interactions? Are they giving it at the right time? All these different aspects of pharmacy. And then seeing my parents living at home in the community, not having those services, unless, you know, me being a pharmacist, I could do that for them. But so many people not having a healthcare professional in their home setting or someone to talk to about their medications just made me think that, wow, we could help so many people in many different ways when it comes to their medication journey and prevent a lot of med errors, prevent side effects, prevent drug interactions, as well as help them have a better quality of life, provide alternative therapies if they feel like their medications are causing side effects. So, as I started that journey with my parents, I started realizing that there's a huge need for this. And if I can use my knowledge base to just help one person feel better or feel less confused, have more clarity, then I feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do.
And then what reward do you get out of doing what you're here to do, Reshma? What's that give you?
I feel like I'm here to serve and I'm here to give the knowledge that I have to others. And it just gives me love, satisfaction to know that I've used what I know to give back to the world.
Good. So it's beautiful. What I'm hearing is so you came to this particular specialty within pharmacy, helping your parents as they aged. If we go back a little bit before that, did you always want to be when you were doing your classical Indian dance, did that roll through your head? Hey, I'm going to be a pharmacist, or did you want to do something else before you came to that?
So, actually, as a child, I had scoliosis and it was pretty bad. And so I had to have surgery. I had no choice. If I didn't have surgery, they said it would collapse my lungs. So I went through that process when I was 15. And through that process, I just saw all the doctors and nurses, on my journey. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing, such a great profession to get into in healthcare. And so growing up through high school, college, I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. I just didn't know what area I wanted to go. And so I took time through college. I did all 4 years, got my bachelor's in kinesiology. And then I got into pharmacy school. So I, you know, took that opportunity. I was at UT Austin and then got in to pharmacy school there. So I went ahead and continued as a pharmacist. And that's how I ended up being a pharmacist. But when I was little, I had no idea that that was what I would be. I just knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. I also was very much into Eastern medicine. So, growing up as an
Mhm.
Indian kid, majority of the times use a lot of Eastern medicine, home remedies to help us with pain or cold or headaches, flus, things like that, cough. And I was just like, wow, this is so cool. We don't have to always use a medication. So when I would see, as I grew up, I would see as a pharmacist working at Eckerd's. I don't know if you remember Eckerd's from
Well,
back
Yeah.
in the day. People come to the counter and say, what can I take for a cold? Or what can I take? I have a sore throat. And automatically in my head, I'm thinking, some home remedy.
You need some good
But
herbs and
yeah,
spices. Yeah.
they're thinking, an OTC product. So, also I've just always been interested in that aspect of alternative meds as well and other things we can use to help us with different
Yeah,
disease states or
we're
symptoms.
going to get more into that on the podcast with you when we have you back as our guest, and looking forward to that. So we really want to jump into that. And, I know you're a very positive person, Dr. Patel, and I don't think I've ever had a
you.
conversation with you where you haven't been smiling from ear to ear. But what motivates you on challenging days? What keeps you going when you do hit those roadblocks or have those challenges?
That's a great question. I would have to say my belief and faith that there's something bigger than me. I'm here for not only myself, but the bigger picture is, to help and serve others. That's just been my motto, that if I can make someone else's life better in some way with the knowledge that I have, then I'm happy. I've done something amazing. So I just live by serving others.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, so that keeps you going and you live to serve others and then serving others now. Is there a big dream project you have?
I would love to continue to do pharmacy counseling, education, advocacy, deprescribing, helping people live longer, better quality of life. And through my work with WiseMed RX, which I'm starting up and hoping to offer these services to patients that need them.
It's excellent. Now, Dr. Reshma, for our audience that may not understand what deprescribing is, why don't you define that really quickly for our audience?
Yeah, so deprescribing is when a patient is on multiple medications and they are starting to wonder if they're having side effects from the medications. Do they need the medications? Is there alternative medications or modalities that we could offer? So, looking at their medication history, what they've been on, what they're on, and then slowly tapering them down safely and effectively, and seeing if that improves in some way with a side effect or quality of life that they're interested in having again.
Yeah, that's such a needed thing, especially with our senior patient population, because they are on so many medications, and it's good to find out which ones they really need to be on and which ones are just counteracting this negative side effects of the other medications. So
Exactly.
looking forward to jumping into more of that with you too. So as we wrap up this fun backstory segment with you, Dr. Patel, this is our rapid fire fun facts. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Are you more of an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. And do you prefer the mountains or the beach?
Beach.
Okay. And do you prefer coffee, tea, or something else?
Chai.
All right. Chai, hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Patel, for being on with us today on the Backstory. You've been listening here to the Well Wave Now Backstory series. And until next time, everyone, stay empowered and remember wellness, it's in you.